Chapter 1735. After that day, Tang Yi asked her to leave, as if it was over. Not long after that, her best friend invited her to be the bridesmaid at her wedding. She also wanted to go out for a walk, but she didn't expect that it would become her nightmare. It seemed that the custom there was to make trouble with bridesmaids. She was the only one who thought that the two of them were good friends in the past. Tang Yi had been jealous of her since she was a child. She was jealous that she had a pair of good adoptive parents, and she was jealous that she could go back to the family and live a rich life. Tang Yi knew that there was a custom of making trouble with bridesmaids, so she invited her to go. Of course, the original owner suffered at the wedding, and she was very miserable. It was not easy for her to come back, but she almost became depressed because of the trouble with bridesmaids. This period of time was dark for her. Those who were good to her were all dead. Who could she talk to about these things? The things that had happened and the damage caused could never be erased. At this time, she welcomed the light again. A man named Yen Song appeared. He was like the warm sunshine, leading her out of the darkness. Yen Song took good care of her, and soon she fell in love with him. Not long after, they got married. She thought she had found happiness, but she didn't know that marrying Yen Song was the biggest tragedy of her life. There is no magical power here, but there is something that can take people's luck. After marrying Yen Song, the original owner lived a tragic life. She didn't want to see it anymore. Since she was here, everything could be changed. Host, should I find a way to destroy that thing from Tang Yi's hands? The system asked. Yes, the reason why the original owner lived such a tragic life was because of a thing in Tang Yi's hand. Maybe Tang Yi didn't know that it could take away other people's luck at the beginning. But what happened later, Tang Gua didn't believe that Tang Yi didn't know the side effects of that thing, which were very serious. There was a stone called Lucky Charm in Tang Yi's hand, which she picked up by accident. As long as you wrote your wish on the stone, it could be realized. Tang Yi's parents died when she was young. When she was sent to the orphanage, she tried to write down her first wish. I want to have a pair of parents who love me. I want to live a happy and prosperous life. At that time, she didn't know that the day after she wrote this wish was the day the original owner was separated from her parents. After that, she was brought back to the family Tang. Because the lucky charm had a magical power, it could find the most suitable person according to Tang Yi's wishes, and deprive that person's happiness to Tang Yi. Of course, Tang Yi's misfortune would be transferred to Tang Gua. But because the original owner and her adoptive parents had a lot of good fortune, they died when she took the college entrance exam. Host, your brother Tang Kue seems to be affected by Tang Yi's lucky charm. Yes, she wrote on the good luck charm that she wants to win my brother's heart. The reason why the two of them had so many conflicts is because my brother is a rather principled person. But in the end, with the strength of a first-stage mortal, he still couldn't resist this evil creature. What should the host do next? That evil thing was really evil. It was better to destroy it as soon as possible. Chapter 1736. The college entrance examination is coming soon. It's not realistic to find Tang Yi now. The amulet I gave to my adoptive parents is something from the immortal world. It's not a problem to fight against that evil thing. Anyway, Qi Xiao is an expert in this field. If he can't deal with this kind of evil thing, he won't be able to survive in the immortal world. As for Tang Yi, let her continue to jump. I can't see the end of this story, but I don't believe that this evil thing is really a good thing. It can be used by her forever. So, the host wants to let Tang Yi suffer the consequences of her own evil deeds. That's right. It's a pity to destroy that evil thing. Tang Yi hasn't been bitten by it yet. How can the host take it back? He had already expected what would happen next. No matter what wish Tang Yi wrote, it would not come true. Instead, it would become more and more unlucky. After all, the host's luck could not be taken away by anyone. In the past 2 months, Tang Guo had been revising in peace. Although she was already familiar with the college entrance exam, she was still very familiar with it. The types of questions in each worldlet were not much different, but there were still some differences. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen are both running small businesses. That's why they often go outside. The family life was warm and happy, which made Tang Guo very satisfied. After all, she hadn't met such good parents for a long time. In the last world, the two who liked to raise barbecued pork made her very unhappy. Although Chen Xian and his wife were very busy, they still often told Tang Guo not to be tired. They didn't want her to push herself too hard. As she said, they didn't take off the amulet that Tang Guo gave them. They wore it no matter what they did. Finally, it was the day of the college entrance examination. Tang Guo was in the examination room. The system had been paying attention to the couple situation under Tang Guo's order. Host, the car turned over. Suddenly hearing the system's words, Tang Guo's pen paused. She had thought of the solution, but she didn't continue to write it on the paper. She paused in her seat. The invigilator only thought that the candidate encountered a problem and was thinking about it. He didn't suspect anything. Host, you can continue to take the exam. They are fine. Although the car turned over several times and many parts were knocked out, your parents are fine. They have been rescued and sent to the hospital. I have scanned them. There is really no problem. Okay. This time, Tang Guo really breathed a sigh of relief. Say thank you to Big Brother Qi Xiao. Okay. After that, Tang Guo didn't stop. After the exam, she received the news that Chen and his wife had an accident. She hurriedly rushed to the hospital. Although the two of them only had abrasions, the accident was very serious. The hospital still kept them in the hospital for observation for a day. When the two saw Tang Guo, they looked at each other and hurriedly hugged her. Then, when there was no one else in the ward, the two of them fumbled around their necks and took out the 2 safety talismans made from jade tablets. When the car flipped over, I thought I was dead. I can feel all kinds of weights around me, squeezing my body. But suddenly, my body felt light. It was as if I was covered in a protective layer. Chen Xian said with a look of lingering fear. The scene at that time really made his mind blank. Zhao Wen nodded. I felt the same. When we arrived at the hospital, we took out the amulet when no one was looking. We found a deep crack in it. Chapter 1737. After this incident, the husband and wife firmly believed that Tang Guo had met an expert in the temple and gave him a protective talisman. Tang Guo looked at them carefully, putting the talisman into their clothes. They must have regarded the talisman as their family heirloom. After that, they asked Tang Guo if she had a talisman. It was a good thing. If their baby girl didn't have one, they would be very worried. The master said that I will live a smooth life without any accidents, so I don't need the talisman. The couple relaxed and didn't worry about it anymore. The master's words must be true. After all, it was the talisman that saved their lives this time. In fact, after avoiding this disaster, the couple's luck was no longer affected by that evil thing. It could be said that one of the curses of the evil spirit was broken. Their luck would slowly gather again and no accidents would happen again. Tang Guo didn't know that on the day when the couple escaped the calamity, Tang Yi suddenly had a high fever for several days and was sent to the emergency room. Because of her serious illness, Tang Yi missed the college entrance examination. She was sick for a month before she got better. Even Tang Yi herself didn't know why she suddenly fell ill. After the long vacation, although Tang Guo's grades were better than before, she still chose to apply to the school she used to go to. After all, there were still many things to be solved. Her biological parents must be recognized. She must go back to the family. Tang Yi, of course, must be dealt with. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen were worried about her, so they sent her to the school in person. After returning to their hometown, they still missed Tang Gua and went to Tang Gua's school to see her from time to time. After a month, the couple suddenly told her that they bought a shop next to the school. In the future, they wouldn't run around and would open a snack bar next to the school. Mom, when did you buy the shop? It's not easy to buy a shop next to the school, right? Did you spend a lot of money? Zhao Wen shook her head. The shop next to the school is expensive, but it's just the market price. Didn't your father and I come to visit you last time? When we passed by that shop, the original owner seemed to have closed down. It sounded like the owner was very anxious. It would be best if someone took over his shop on the same day. This boss doesn't seem to want to register the shop as an intermediary. When your father and I heard that, I don't know what was going on in our heads. We suddenly went up and asked about the rent. It was only after we signed the contract that we realized that we had actually done such a big thing. This location was good. As long as the snacks were hygienic and tasted good, business would definitely be good. We didn't want to run around all these years, so we decided to stay here. That boss actually signed a 5-year contract with us. Speaking of which, Zhao Wen and Chen Xian were in disbelief. They were simply taking advantage of the situation. Tang Gui knew the reason. The couple was blessed to begin with. Now that the evil spirits were unable to corrode them and take away their providence, this should be a kind of compensation from the heavenly Tao. As long as they didn't do anything bad, their days would get better and better, and their luck would also get better and better. This was a good thing. She liked the phrase, good people get good karma. Have you thought about what snacks to make? Tang Gui asked. She guessed that they hadn't thought about it yet. Sure enough, Zhao Wen and Chen Xian shook their heads awkwardly. Tang Gui was speechless. Their luck had become good, but they had also become stupid. Chapter 1738. Zhao Wen and Chen Xian sat down and discussed in a low voice, as if they were discussing what to do. Tongzi, find me a few recipes for snacks. In the end, Tang Gui asked the system to find some recipes for snacks and printed them out on 4 pieces of paper. When she handed them to the couple, she said that she found them on the internet and that they could try them and see how they tasted. Anyway, the shop had already been bought, and they decisively closed the original small business. Now, they had to open the shop even if they didn't want to. Tang Gui was not worried at all, she was sure that it would succeed. Then, the couple began to study the food, while Tang Gui went to class peacefully, waiting to meet the family Tang couple. The couple hid in the shop all day, studying the snacks. In fact, they didn't know that although they didn't open the shop, the fragrance from the shop had attracted many people's attention. One day, they didn't close the door tightly, and a few students who liked to eat couldn't help but sneak into the shop, startling the couple who were studying the snacks. Several students couldn't help but swallow their saliva when they saw the couple sitting in their seats and the table full of all kinds of delicious snacks. Boss, why haven't you opened the shop yet? Boss, when are you going to open the shop? You made so much food, don't tell me you don't plan to sell it. So, are you opening today? Are you open for business? Are you selling these snacks? Even if you don't open the shop, these things seem to be useless. Why don't you sell some to us first? Several students, one after another, surrounded the couple and said. Chen Xian asked, students, what do you think of these snacks? Recently, they had been cooking every day, and they couldn't taste the food, so they sat down and were very conflicted. Since they chose such a location, they must make the food delicious. They asked Tanggua if it was delicious, and Tanggua said it was delicious every time. But their daughter's taste didn't represent everyone's taste, so they were not very confident. Several students widened their eyes. The boss's face was full of doubt that the snacks he made were not delicious. It really blinded their eyes. It was like a rich man saying that he was poor. "Boss, can you see that we're almost drooling? Since last Friday, we've been smelling all kinds of smells coming out of your restaurant. We thought that you were going to open soon, so we planned to come over and have a big meal this weekend. But we've been waiting and waiting. The weekend is over, Monday is over, Tuesday is over, Wednesday is over, Thursday is over, and now it's Friday. Boss, I want to ask if you're doing business or not." Chen Xian and Zhao Wen already felt that these students were attracted by their food. "Give it a try then," Chen Xian said. "How much are you selling this?" Chen Xian continued, "Try it for free. If you think it's good, you can pay for it." The students glanced at each other. In the end, they couldn't resist the temptation of the food and began to eat without hesitation. When Tanggua came to the shop, she found a few students with oily mouths and stomachs full of satisfaction. Looking at Chen Xian and Zhao Wen, they were also full of smiles. "Dad, Mom, are we open for business?" Chen Xian shook his head. "Not yet, but soon. Let's do it tomorrow. We'll open tomorrow." "Boss, take the money." After eating the snacks, the satisfied students took out money from their wallets and handed it to Chen Xian. Chen Xian said, "I'll treat you guys today." Chapter 1739. Boss, do you know how to run a business? You will lose money if you do business like this. Forget it, I won't look for it. You should open it early, tomorrow, right? I'll come again tomorrow. Your snacks taste good and are quite clean. Sell them at a higher price. Sell them at a higher price and make more money. Anyway, don't stop because you can't afford the rent. After saying that, the student stuffed the money into Chen Xian's hand and the few of them slipped away like the wind. The snack shop opened the next day, and it was very popular on the same day. In just a week, it attracted a lot of people to eat. The couple was so busy that they had to hire several waiters. When Tanggua had no class, she would come to the shop to help. Counting the days, it was almost time for her to meet her biological parents. On the same day, Tanggua went to the outside of the school according to the original plan. Anyway, it was the place where the original owner's parents would go. Unexpectedly, she didn't see them for half a day. "What's the matter? Did something go wrong?" The system quickly checked and said, "According to the original plan, host, your biological parents came to the university to see Tang Yi. But I found that Tang Yi seemed to be repeating her studies. It seems that she suddenly fell ill during the college entrance examination. It was quite serious. She was in the emergency room at that time and was sick for about a month. So, host, if Tang Yi is not in the university, your biological parents should not come here." "I see." Tanggua frowned. Did she have to take the initiative? She asked about the time when Tang Yi fell ill. Suddenly, she realized that it was because her adoptive parents escaped the disaster that made Tang Yi fall ill because of the backlash of the lucky charm. Since she didn't see them, she didn't insist. When she walked back to the shop slowly, she heard a voice from inside. "Mom, Dad, many classmates have been here before. I have been waiting for a long time. Finally, on Friday, you can take me here to eat. If I didn't fall ill, I should be in the university now. I can go out every day and eat the snacks here." Tanggua glanced inside. The girl with a delicate face, who was eating with a small bowl, was Tang Yi. And the couple sitting opposite her were her biological parents. the two of them continued to eat. Obviously, they were very satisfied with the taste of the snacks. It's delicious, but it's a little spicy. My stomach can't take it. Mrs. Tang shook her head and looked at the remaining half of the snack in her bowl. Would you like some refreshing white fungus porridge? Tang Guo walked up and asked with a smile. Then give me some. Tang Guo's mother looked up with a smile, but when she saw Tang Guo, she froze for a second. When she wanted to take another look, Tang Guo had already turned around and went in to get the white fungus porridge. After going around in circles, it turned out that it was this snack bar that had attracted the two of them. When Tang Guo came out with the white fungus porridge and placed it on the table, Mother Tang's gaze was still on her. Is there a problem? No, it's just that the snacks here are really good. Mrs. Tang held the bowl of porridge and lowered her head. Her eyes were complicated, but more than that, she was pleasantly surprised. But she didn't show it directly, although Tang Guo looked 70% similar to her when she was young. But in this world, there were people who looked similar. She couldn't just look at someone who looked like her and ask if she was her daughter. Moreover, Xiao Yi was here. She had to consider the feelings of the child. Mr. Tang also noticed it. He was calmer than Mrs. Tang. But their eyes fell on Tang Guo when they were not paying attention. Tang Guo helped the shop and walked around, so they didn't want to leave the snack bar. Chapter 1740. When it was almost dark, the family Tang couple reluctantly left with each other. During this period, they didn't show any other abnormalities except that they frequently looked at Tang Guo. After leaving the snack bar and getting in the car, the two people's thoughts were revealed on their faces. But all this was not discovered by the careless Tang Yi. She ate a lot of snacks in the snack bar. At present, she was so full that she didn't notice anything wrong with the two people. After arriving home, the two people went back to the house and couldn't help but say the words that they had been holding back for several hours. Yongbua, do you think that is our daughter Guoguo? Lin Yinghui's face was full of anxiety, excitement, and disbelief. She tightly grasped Tang Yongbua's arm. I was so nervous just now that I forgot to ask the little girl's name. It doesn't matter whether you ask her name or not. If Guoguo was really adopted, she may have changed her name. Lin Yinghui's face became gloomy. Thinking of the little girl who was 70% similar to her when she was young, her hope gradually rose. Yongbua, let's investigate it first, lest we make a mistake and cause embarrassment to others. If there is evidence that the little girl may be our Guoguo, let's go and talk to them. For more than 10 years, even if they adopted Tang Yi, they still couldn't let go of what happened in the past. If she was more careful or held her Guoguo, she wouldn't have lost her. She clearly held Guoguo's hand tightly, but why in the end, the child in her hand became another family's child, and her Guoguo was missing. Yinghui, don't worry, calm down. Tang Yongbua patted Lin Yinghui's shoulder and hugged her to comfort her. Leave it to me. If she is really our daughter, I will deal with this matter as soon as possible and let you recognize her. Then go quickly. Tang Yongbua didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't know who just said that he should stay calm and not panic. It was late at night. Where should he go? Let's go tomorrow. Lin Yinghui also realized that it was very late. That little girl seemed to be a student of the nearby university. She couldn't run away, so there was no hurry. The next day, Tang Yongbua went to investigate Tang Guo's matter. Tang Yi made an appointment with her classmates to play on the weekend, so she was not at home. Tang Kui also had to go to the company to deal with things. The couple didn't tell him the news for the time being. After all, they didn't know what the final result would be. Lin Yinghui stayed at home alone. In the end, she couldn't take it anymore and asked the driver to take her to the snack bar. What made her happy was that Tang Guo was also helping in the store, which made her overjoyed. She ordered a snack and a white fungus soup. When Tang Guo wasn't paying attention, he kept peeking at her body. She sat in the corner and watched them secretly. If Tang Guo had not been paying attention to her, she would not have noticed that she had a special gaze. After an hour in the snack bar, Lin Yinghui left. Then, in the afternoon, she came again. It was still the same seat, but this time, she ordered a few more snacks. She thought that she couldn't order so many snacks and take up only one seat. Wouldn't that affect the shop's business? In order to make it seem natural for her to occupy a seat, she ordered quite a lot. But she couldn't eat it alone. Chapter 1741. This situation attracted Zhao Wen's attention. Zhao Wen came in front of Lin Yinghui and said with a smile, "Is it not to your liking? What do you think needs to be improved?" "No, it's to my liking." Lin Yinghui looked calm and smiled, but in fact, she was very nervous. According to her observation, the little girl was the daughter of the snack bar's couple. If the little girl was really their daughter, would they be hostile to her? After all, no one would want their daughter, who they had raised for more than 10 years, to suddenly become someone else's daughter. Then when you order snacks, remember to order less. You can order more after you eat. Also, it's not good when it's cold. Zhao Wen kindly reminded. Lin Yinghui smiled and said, "I didn't pay attention for a moment. When I saw the delicious food, I thought I was the same as when I was young, so I accidentally ordered more." Lin Yinghui stopped ordering food and slowly ate the food on the table. Tang Guo saw her frown as she ate. She guessed that the food was too spicy, so she brought some water to her. When Lin Yinghui saw that it was Tang Guo who brought the water to her, she was so excited that she almost cried. Fortunately, at the critical moment, she held back and said, "Thank you, little girl." "You're welcome, Auntie. Eat slowly. If it's too spicy, you can ask my parents to make it lighter. If you can't stand spicy food, it's not good for your stomach." "Oh, I know." Lin Yinghui drank the water and inadvertently asked, "Little girl, are you a student of this university?" "Yes." "Listening to your accent, you don't seem to be from this city." "Yes, not from this city." Tang Guo casually said where she was from. She didn't mind Lin Yinghui's words. She also wanted to expose their relationship as soon as possible. Tang Yi deprived others of their happiness. Their good days should come to an end. She was very unhappy that she was able to enjoy everything that others had as though it was her right. When Lin Yinghui asked for Tang Guo's name and learned her name, she was stunned. "So your surname is Tang. What a coincidence, my husband's surname is also Tang." Lin Yinghui's hands, which were hidden under the table, clenched tightly. How could there be such a coincidence in the world? Her daughter was Tang Guo, and this little girl was also called Tang Guo. She named her daughter Tang Guo because she hoped that her daughter's life would be as sweet, happy as candy. When Tang Guo was busy with other things, Lin Yinghui inadvertently saw the name of the snack bar, Chen Snacks. It was a very common and simple name. It was still early in the afternoon, so there were very few customers in the shop. Most of the people who ate snacks would only come after 5 o'clock. The reason why the shop was open all day was because there were many snacks in the shop. Some snacks and small bowls of noodles could be eaten as rice. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen didn't go to other places to play. When there were no customers, they would play with their phones in the shop or chat with their new friends next door. Lin Yinghui inadvertently chatted with Zhao Wen again. When they talked about the name of the snack shop, she knew that Chen's surname was Chen Xian's surname and not Zhao Wen's. As for the rest, she didn't ask any further. There was no such coincidence in the world that a daughter did not have the same surname as her parents and had her own surname. Thinking of that, Lin Yinghui became more and more excited. She was waiting for the news from Tang Yongbua. If Tang Gua was really her daughter, she should thank this kind couple. Chapter 1742. She had already made up her mind. She just wanted to acknowledge her daughter. To her daughter, it was just having another pair of parents. She was not so selfish as to take her away. Her daughter was already so outstanding. It must be because this couple had taught her well. It was her daughter's good fortune to have such good adoptive parents. The next day, Lin Yinghui did not come again. Tang Gua continued her studies and often helped in the shop. Xiao Gua, what's this? One day, Chen Xian saw Tang Gua opening a big box of things. It didn't seem to be something that a girl would like, so he asked her a few questions. Tang Gua took out a few sets of surveillance equipment. These are surveillance equipment. I bought them online. Surveillance equipment? Zhao Wen asked curiously. We already have surveillance equipment in the shop. Xiao Gua, why did you buy so many? Look, there are at least 7 cameras here. However, they were very small and did not look like surveillance equipment. Instead, they looked like decorations. In our shop, there's a surveillance equipment at the cashier. I think it's not enough. As Tang Gua spoke, she was already preparing to install the equipment. This snack shop is outside the school. I think it's better to install a few more. Then, they watched helplessly as Tang Gua installed the surveillance equipment on the roof. 6 surveillance equipment could cover all the seats in the shop. After all, the shop was not big. She actually installed the remaining 2 equipment in the kitchen. Why do you have to install them in the kitchen too? Chen Xian could not help but ask. Is this necessary? It's very necessary. Dad, Mom, we're in the food business now and business is so good. I'm afraid that thieves will target us. The main purpose of installing these equipment is to monitor our own shop. The food that Dad and Mom make must be hygienic. If something really happens, the surveillance footage will be the best proof. After saying that, Tang Gua showed them a few news articles. They were all about popular shops that were suddenly exposed that there was something wrong with the food, or that there were flies and bugs in the customers' mouths when they were eating. There were even people who said that those snacks were poisoned. These things greatly affected the shop's business. In the end, they basically closed their doors and reorganized. What had a slightly smaller impact was that the customers would spread rumors that this restaurant was unclean, and no matter how delicious it was, it would not be attractive anymore. At this point, the couple no longer objected and thought that it was better to install this thing. Dad, Mom, don't tell anyone about the surveillance cameras in our shop. If you don't say it, no one will take the initiative to ask. The equipment I bought looks like decoration on the outside. It's all for the sake of catching people off guard. If people really find out, it won't have that effect. The couple hurriedly nodded. They were not fools. In every industry, there would be bad competition. There was no lack of jealous people who would come up with some crooked ideas. As the saying goes, one must always be on guard against others. It was better to be careful. On Tuesday, around 2 p.m., it was the quietest time in the shop. According to Tang Yongbua's observation, Tang Gua didn't have classes at this time. She would usually be in the shop. Tang Yongbua, Lin Yinghui, and Tang Kuei all came. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen were a little confused. Only Tang Gua knew why they were here. Chapter 1743. Sister Zhao, Brother Qin, I'm really sorry to disturb you at this time, but we had no choice but to come. Lin Yinghui's face was full of apology as her gaze fell on Tang Gua. At this time, Zhao Wen finally remembered something. She felt that Lin Yinghui looked familiar. It was just that she was very different from when she was young, so she didn't think of it. At this time, Lin Yinghui's face was full of love as she looked at her daughter, Tang Gua. She understood. No wonder this richly dressed madam always ran to her snack shop and her gaze was often on her Xiao Gua. You. Zhao Wen paused and pushed Chen Xian, go and close the door. Chen Xian also understood something and sighed softly. The waiters who were helping out had all gone for their lunch break. He closed the door and turned on the lights at the same time. Sister Lin, you're here for Xiao Gua, right? Zhao Wen asked directly. Xiao Gua is our adopted daughter. We have never hidden this from her. Back then, we looked for her for a long time, but we couldn't find her biological parents, so we adopted her and have always raised her as our biological daughter. Sister Zhao, Brother Qin, thank you. Although according to various information, your daughter is very likely to be my daughter who accidentally went missing, we still need to do a test. Lin Yinghui was actually more anxious than anyone else. She was already sure that this was her daughter, but a scientific test would be able to prove it. After all, this kind of thing needed to be more rigorous. I just want to acknowledge my daughter. I don't plan to take Guoguo away and deprive you of your rights as parents. It's all thanks to you that Guoguo can become so outstanding. Lin Yinghui said with tears in her eyes, so, I hope you don't mind. If Guoguo is really my daughter, her life won't change at all. She will only have a pair of parents and a brother to love her. Hearing Lin Yinghui's words, Chen Xian and Zhao Wen both laughed. They were happy that their daughter had such biological parents. Even if she really returned to her original family, they would be able to rest assured. Then when are we going to do the test? Chen Xian asked. At the same time, he turned to look at Tang Gua. Xiao Gua, are you willing to go? Tang Gua nodded and replied, no matter what the outcome is, Dad and Mom are still Dad and Mom. Hearing this, Chen Xian and Zhao Wen felt more comforted. Zhao Wen took Tang Gua's hand and said, we don't mind, and we can understand Sister Lin's feelings. Let's go today. Old Chen, arrange for the people in the store to look after the store. Tang Kui was also sizing her up. The person in front of him might be his lost little sister. Tang Gua glanced at him. Unexpectedly, Tang Kui smiled at her and said, you're so obedient. You must be my little sister. Tang Gua. System. You brat, you're usually so serious, but now you've become so glib. Tang Yongbua couldn't hold back and patted Tang Kui's shoulder. Speak softly. Don't scare your little sister. She won't recognize you in the future. Tang Kui's lips curled into a smile. I know, Dad. Can't I speak softly? In the future, I will take good care of my little sister and won't let anyone bully her. Tang Yongbua felt that something was wrong with his son today. Host, your brother's personality doesn't seem to be like this. Chapter 1744. From the memory I received, I also feel that he is not like this. Before Tang Yi wrote down his sincere wish, he was not like this. It is indeed strange. So, host, was he reborn, or was he betrayed? Or because of some big change in personality? Eliminate the possibility of rebirth. Tang Gua said with certainty, if he was really reborn, he would definitely find something wrong with Tang Yi. No matter when he was reborn, the first person he would deal with would be Tang Yi. Then, he would take the initiative to come to me. Then I can also eliminate one possibility. He definitely did not go through a big change in personality. After experiencing something big, 99% of them would change from a happy and outgoing personality to a reserved and taciturn one. So, my brother has been betrayed. Tang Gua said with certainty, he doesn't seem to have any evil intentions to me. Instead, he seems to be very close to me. In the car, Tang Guo sat in the front passenger seat of Tang Kui. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen sat in the two seats behind. As for Tang Yongbua and Lin Yinghui, they sat in another car driven by the driver. When Tang Guo and the system were evaluating Tang Kui's situation and concluded that he might have been betrayed, a very special voice attracted their attention. Tang Kui said, "Three little ones, such a cute and well-behaved sister, how do you think I should pamper her?" System 111 said, "Host, do you want me to find you a book called 100 Ways to Pamper Your Sister? You can do it slowly, one by one. I guarantee that you can pamper your sister to the heavens." Tang Kui said, "Send it to me. If it is too old-fashioned, I will throw you into Xiao Hei's roof." System 111 trembled. "I guarantee that it is the latest edition of 100 Ways to Pamper Your Sister. Host, we can negotiate. Don't throw me into Xiao Hei's roof. We are teammates. If you treat your teammates so cruelly, you won't have any friends." Tang Kui said, "I am used to being alone. Do you think I need teammates? Didn't you get promoted by flattering me and hugging my thigh? If it weren't for me, could you beat so many competitors and get the Excellent System Award every year? Letting you into Xiao Hei's roof is to let you reflect on your mistakes." Poor 111, "I know, host. You're right. If I did something wrong, please throw me into Xiao Hei's house to reflect on my mistakes. I will definitely reflect on myself." Tang Kui chuckled. "Heh, what a bootlicker. You're so stupid. Why don't you flatter me a little? Let me hear it. If I'm in a good mood, I won't throw you into the little dark room. Host, you are wise and mighty, peerless and unparalleled. You have a nice personality and a nice voice. You are the most handsome guy in the universe. Tang Guo, System, Tongzi, have you learned anything? Great System Host, you are the best host in the universe. We are good friends and teammates. My dear host, you're really good, you've never tried to PK me. So, why was a stupid system like 111, which only knew how to flatter and bootlick, also in the system? He was so angry. Fortunately, his great host was really good. This made him very satisfied. Another point was, so what if he was riding on someone else's coattails? He still couldn't level up as fast as him. Tang Kui said, "This task is really simple. The original owner asked me to stop Tang Yi, treat his family well, and spoil his sister." Chapter 1745. Ordinary people can't deal with that evil thing, and it even swallowed Tang Kui's soul. He was able to wake up at the end and attract the attention of our time and space department with his strong obsession. He's quite a capable guy. After all, that evil thing is produced by our old rival, and he's not an ordinary person. Tang Kui laughed, "Evil thing. My favorite thing is to kill evil things. I don't know what kind of thing it is. I really want to take it apart and see what's inside. But forget it. If it's broken, that little bitch Tang Yi will suffer the consequences of her own actions. I heard that this thing has a serious side effect. I really want to see that bitch's painful face. Now Guogua is my baby sister. She actually wants to take everything away from my sister. I really want to take her apart." System 111 trembled as it listened to Tang Kui's words. It muttered in its heart, "My host likes to take things apart so much. Was she a husky in her previous life? She especially likes to take apart sofas and houses." Tang Guo listened silently. Tang Kui and his System 111 were talking in a whisper, and the corners of her mouth were raised. "This is interesting. Tang Yi, you've used up all your luck. This Tang Kui doesn't seem to be a kind person. He always wants to take things apart. Host, that guy seems to be very violent. The system silently complained, "Is the host nowadays so violent? So, he's really lucky." Soon, they arrived at the hospital. Tang Gua and the family Tang couple did a paternity test. The result could only be obtained after 3 days. During this period, they went to have a meal. Tang Kuei sent Tang Gua, Chen Xian and Zhao Wen back to the restaurant. Before leaving, he called out to Tang Gua. "Little sister, take out your phone and save my number. If anyone bullies you, just call me." Tang Gua took out her phone and silently memorized Tang Kuei's number. She glanced at him and said, "The result is not out yet. But I'm very sure that you're my sister." Tang Kuei said with a smile and patted Tang Gua's head. "I'll come to. I still have things to do in the company. I heard that the snacks at home are very delicious. I must come and try them tomorrow." Oh, the results weren't out yet. Tang Kuei kept saying home. He really wasn't shy with strangers. All right. Tang Gua knew that Tang Kuei didn't mean any harm, and he treated her well, so she gladly accepted him as her brother. The most important thing was that he said that Tang Yi was a little bitch, and she liked it very much. She also thought that Tang Yi was a nasty little bitch. 3 days later, the results were out. Tang Gua was indeed the daughter of the family. Lin Yinghui hugged Tang Yongbua and cried on the spot. As they had discussed before, Lin Yinghui and Tang Yongbua did not ask Tang Gua to live at home. However, he hoped that she would come back to visit often. He also said that if there were any festivals in the future, such as the New Year, they would celebrate it with their family. This family included Chen Xian and Zhao Wen. They didn't forget that there was still Tang Yi at home. They definitely had to tell Tang Yi about this matter. On the weekend, Tang Gua was taken back to the family Tang Villa by Tang Kuei. This time, Chen Xian and Zhao Wen didn't follow them. They thought that they needed to give the family some space to be alone. Family Tang people's polite behavior made them feel very relieved. Family Tang people had always kept Tang Gua's room. Chapter 1746. Even after they moved to a new house, Tang Gua's room was still there, and they would ask someone to clean it every day. This time, they specially decorated it. Tang Gua looked at the things inside and was a little stunned. Tang Kuei explained, "Every year on your birthday, Mom and Dad will put the gifts they prepared, and the ones I prepared are also here. When you have time, you can open them and have a look. This year, finally, I can celebrate your birthday in person. Come on, come in and have a look. If there's anything you don't like, I'll ask someone to change it." "Very good, I like it very much." "Thank you, brother. Don't mention it. You're my sister, and I should spoil you." Today's family Tang Villa was a little different. It was a little lively early in the morning. Tang Yi remembered that last night, Lin Yinghui and Tang Yongbua told her to get up early today because they had something important to tell her. So, she set the alarm and got up at 1 o'clock. After freshening up, she opened the door and saw Tang Kuei leading a very beautiful girl downstairs. The girl looked a little familiar, but she had seen many people, so she couldn't remember where she had seen her before. However, the moment she saw Tang Gua, she had a bad feeling in her heart, and she had a natural dislike for Tang Gua. "Brother, who is she?" Tang stood at the door, a little vigilant. Tang Kuei raised his head and looked at Tang Yi with a faint smile. He led Tang Gua to Tang Yi and said, "Mom and Dad should have told you yesterday that a good thing happened at home, right?" Then, Tang Yi had a guess in her heart. Was this girl her brother's girlfriend? However, she was dressed like a girl, and her brother wouldn't like such a young girl, would he? Tang Kuei saw Tang Yi's look and knew what she was thinking, and his smile became bigger. If this little bitch knew that this was his biological sister, what would his face be like? Well, now he wanted to know. This is Guogua. Tang Kui finally opened his mouth with a smile and a little bit of affection in his eyes. Mom and Dad should have told you about Guogua, who was separated from us, right? Now we have found her. Don't you think it's a good thing? Tang Yi was shocked on the spot. Was this the daughter that her parents had been missing all those years ago? She clearly understood that if they hadn't gotten separated, her parents wouldn't have adopted her from the orphanage. When she found out that Tang Guo was the real daughter of the Tang family, she panicked. At the end of the day, no matter how much her parents doted on her, it was all because Tang Guo was missing. To them, she was just a replacement. Now that the real thing was back, would her parents still like her and treat her well? Would he give all his love to Tang Guo? There was also her elder brother. She carefully glanced at Tang Kui. This was the person she had liked for a long time. In the past, no matter how close she got to him, Tang Kui was neither cold nor warm to her. It was as if he had never treated her as a family member and treated her like a stranger. Now, when he talked about Tang Guo, his face was full of smiles. The love in his eyes for his sister really made her feel very uncomfortable. Xiao Yi, what's wrong with you? Tang Kui's voice woke Tang Yi up. Tang Yi quickly put on a smile. Is this the Guogua that Mom and Dad talked about? It's really great that she can come back now. She tried to squeeze out a smile and walked to the front of Tang Guo. Guogua, welcome home. In fact, Tang Yi didn't want to see her, but she couldn't show it. Tang Guo smiled faintly. Thank you. Looking at the two siblings standing together, there was no surprise that their aura was very compatible. Although she had been living outside since childhood, Tang Guo didn't have the slightest bit of narrow-mindedness. Her temperament was really not inferior to that of a girl who grew up in this family. Tang Yi's heart became more and more uncomfortable. Chapter 1747. How about I help Guogua decorate her room? Tang Yi couldn't find a topic to talk about. She suddenly remembered that Tang Guo just came back today, and her family didn't have time to decorate her room yet. Every time the family Tang moved, they would leave a good room for Tang Guo. On Tang Guo's birthday, the family Tang couple and Tang Kui would prepare a gift suitable for Tang Guo's age and secretly put it in her room. On this day, the three of them would go to Tang Guo's room and stay there for a while. She had been raised in the family Tang for so many years, but to be honest, she had never been in that room. She thought that the room would always be a decoration, but she didn't expect that the real owner would come back one day. Tang Yi was very upset. But no matter how upset she was, this was Tang Guo's home, and she was originally the little princess of the family Tang. They just got separated by accident when they were young. If it weren't for that, she wouldn't have the chance to enter the family Tang, and she might still be in the orphanage. Thinking of this, Tang Yi tried to calm down and suppress the discomfort in her heart. She was so happy in the family Tang, so she should be satisfied, right? I've decorated Guogua's room before, and I just went to see it. Tang Kui said with a smile. Guogua likes it very much. Oh, really? That's really great. Tang Yi was a little embarrassed and sad. Tang Kui had never been so close to her. After all, they were biological siblings. After a while, Tang Yi said, "Do you have anything else to buy? Let's go shopping or shopping. Guogua can ask me to go with you." Tang Guo nodded and responded, "Okay." She also wanted to see what Tang Yi would do next. According to the character of the family Tang couple, even if she, their biological daughter, came back, they wouldn't treat Tang Yi badly. If Tang Yi was unhappy and did something out of line, it would be really unforgivable. Except for being close to Tang Guo, Tang Kui didn't mean to deliberately pick on Tang Yi. Let's go downstairs. Mom and Dad asked the auntie to cook a lot of dishes today. Mom also said that she would personally cook a few dishes. Tang Kuei patted Tang Guo's shoulder and said to Tang Yi. When they went downstairs, Tang Yongbo was sitting on the sofa. Seeing them come downstairs, he looked at Tang Yi with a smile. Xiao Yi, this is Guo Guo Guo, we used to talk about her. I guess Kuei's tell you just now. Yes, Dad. Tang Yi's heart has calmed down a lot, and she sat on the side obediently. I'm also very happy that Guo Guo can come back to this family. From now on, Dad and Mom don't have to be sad for Guo Guo anymore. Our family can be reunited. Tang Yongbo was very satisfied with these words. Well said. From now on, our family can be reunited. You and Guo Guo are about the same age, so you should be able to play together and get along well. If there are any gatherings in the future that she doesn't understand, please take care of her. Tang Yongbo said this to take care of Tang Yi's mentality. He was afraid that she would be sad and think that their biological daughter came back. In the future, he would let her take Tang Guo to the party. He also wanted Tang Yi to understand that no matter what, she was their daughter, and there would be no difference between her and the old one. Anyway, they had raised her for more than 10 years. They had feelings for each other. They couldn't abandon their adopted daughter just because their biological daughter came back. It didn't make sense. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, you have to be calm. You can talk about life and find a confidant. Chapter 1748. It was also to let Tang Yi understand that the reason why they adopted her might be because they lost Tang Guo. But they never regarded Tang Yi as Tang Guo. They were two different little girls, and they could tell the difference very clearly. Tang Yi did feel much better. She nodded and smiled. I know, Dad. I will show Guo Guo everything at home. After the dishes were served, the whole family sat at the table. Lin Yinghui couldn't help but ask Tang Guo to eat more. She was so happy that she kept putting food in her bowl. But she didn't forget Tang Yi. Xiaoyi, you should eat more. You are a little girl, don't always think about losing weight. Last time when you suddenly had a high fever in the college entrance examination, you scared us. This year's study is very important. You must take good care of yourself. Don't have an accident like last time. I know, Mom. Tang Yi felt much better. It seemed that her parents didn't neglect her after Tang Guo came back. As for Kuei, you are already an adult. Mom won't remind you. You must learn to take care of yourself. Lin Yinghui refuted. Also, take good care of your two little sisters at home. Do you understand? Tang Kuei smiled. I know, Mom. Aren't you afraid that I will be sad? You only care about your little sisters, but neglect your son. It really makes me sad. Kuei, you have been very steady and quiet since you were a child. Why do you become so talkative recently? Lin Yinghui asked curiously. Before Tang Kuei answered, she suddenly said, Is it because Guo Guo is back that you changed? No, maybe this is your nature. It's because Guo Guo disappeared that you became quiet, right? Tang Kuei chuckled in his heart. This mother really knew how to find excuses for him. Mom, you can think whatever you like. I don't care. I am very happy to find Guo Guo. Tang Kuei ate slowly. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised. He glanced at Tang Guo from time to time. It's a pity. Guo Guo is so big now. As her brother, I really don't have a sense of achievement. I have to think about how to spoil my little sister when she grows up. Tang Yongbo couldn't help laughing. Then you can lock yourself in your room and think about how to spoil her. Okay, Dad, I'll think about it seriously. Tang Yi looked at the different Tang Kuei and felt a little sad. Her parents did not treat her differently, but Tang Kuei treated her differently. Ever since she entered the family, Tang Kuei had been indifferent to her. For more than 10 years, he had barely spoken to her. Every exchange was short and concise. She had never seen Tang Kuei like this before. That look of wanting to dote on his sister from the bottom of his heart. She didn't want to have a brother who doted on her so much. She was also glad that Tang Kuei wasn't her real brother. She remembered that when she first arrived at the family Tang restaurant, that young man walked down the stairs and glanced at her coldly. Oh. That glance had caused ripples in her heart. Although at that time, she had not yet experienced her first awakening of love, she had the desire to get closer to this young man. She had the pure desire to get closer to this young man. When she gradually grew up, about when she was in junior high school, she heard her classmates talking about which school hunk was the most handsome and liked him very much. She then understood that she probably fell in love with that young man. Later on, she deliberately tried to get close to him, but unfortunately, he was always cold and distant to her. She wanted to chat with more like-minded people. Hurry up and change into a female supporting character. Calm down. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1749. He didn't treat her as a sister, so it was better than being a stranger. Tang Kuei inadvertently caught a glimpse of Tang Yi's eyes, so he lowered his head and chuckled. Without guessing, he knew what Tang Yi was thinking. She was probably wondering why he was so cold to her. This woman was really imaginative. Tang Kuei was like this. Except for his parents and sister, he was like this to everyone. Originally, Tang Kuei was not even interested in women. If it weren't for the evil spirit, Tang Kuei would probably dominate the business world, instead of being involved in love. Guogua, eat slowly. When you finish, brother will accompany you to open the gifts. Tang Kuei said with a smile. Seeing this, Tang Yongbua said, Xiao Yi, you should go with us. You kids should spend more time with each other. Yes, you should spend more time with each other. You are usually busy with your studies and work. You only have time on weekends. Lin Yinghui reacted and quickly tried to smooth things over. Obviously, the couple knew Tang Kuei's character. They knew clearly that Tang Kuei was not close to Tang Yi. This was his character, and they couldn't force their son to have a relationship with Tang Yi. In this case, Tang Kuei didn't expect Tang Yi to go with them, but he wouldn't object. Sure enough, Tang Gua nodded, and Tang Kuei didn't say anything to oppose. Tang Yi had always been an invisible person in his eyes. Although Tang Kuei's attitude made Tang Yi uncomfortable, the family Tang couple's words comforted her. After dinner, the three came to Tang Gua's room. It was the first time for Tang Yi to enter this room. Looking at the pile of unopened gift boxes, she was a little shocked. Not only were there gifts prepared by the three of them for Tang Gua's birthday every year, but there were also gifts prepared by the three of them for various occasions. Of course, the three of them would also prepare gifts for her on her birthday and other festivals. Even Tang Kuei didn't have such etiquette. But it was still shocking to see so many gifts at once. Not to mention the Tang couple, she guessed that the gift Tang Kuei prepared for Tang Guo was definitely carefully selected by himself, unlike the gift he prepared for her, where he let his subordinates choose it for him. Thinking of this, she was a little jealous. She warned herself that she shouldn't be jealous. Tang Guo had been wandering outside for so long. Tang Kuei was her biological brother, so it was natural for him to prepare a gift for her. She shouldn't be jealous. Moreover, her feelings for Tang Kuei were different. She couldn't care less about such a small matter. Since Tang Kuei liked Tang Guo so much, maybe if she got along well with Tang Guo, Tang Kuei might even see her in a new light. Thinking of this, Tang Yi began to treat Tang Guo sincerely. Perhaps this was also a good choice. As the saying goes, love the house, love its crow. Would Tang Kui discover her one day? Mom, Dad, and Big Brother prepared these for you. Every year on your birthday, they will come to your room. Tang Yi walked to Tang Gua and handed her a pair of scissors. Gua, open it and have a look. Every time at this time, I can feel that Mom and Dad are very sad, but I don't want to disturb them. I don't know how to comfort them. I only know that they really want you to come back. Tang Yi said this with some sincerity. Because of Tang Kui, she now made up her mind to get along well with Tang Gua. She wanted to chat with more like-minded people. She wanted to be a female supporting character. Calm down. Talk about life. Find a bosom friend. Chapter 1750. As an adopted daughter, it was really unwise to argue with the biological daughter of her adoptive parents, and it would easily arouse Tang Kui's disgust. She couldn't be so stupid. These gifts were piled up very neatly, with the year and the date of the gifts. Let's start from the earliest date. Tang Yi suggested with a smile. Tang Gua didn't object. At present, Tang Yi seemed to have figured out something. She felt that Tang Yi wanted to get along with her well. Tang Gua doesn't want to embarrass Tang Yi. As the saying goes, don't slap a smiling face. Tang Gua doesn't want to embarrass Tang Yi. She was not in a hurry at all. Human nature was complicated. A bad person couldn't be bad in every aspect, and a good person couldn't be good in every aspect. A bad person could become a good person, and a good person could also become bad. Even people could be alternating between good and bad, sometimes good and sometimes bad. If Tang Yi could survive this world with such a peaceful mind, she would admire her. But people were also the most vulnerable to all kinds of temptations. If Tang Yi didn't have the so-called lucky charm, perhaps she wouldn't have expected anything or done anything excessive. The lucky charm was still in Tang Yi's hands. Maybe one day she would remember it and use it to make a wish again. How could she give up after tasting the benefits? What was a wish? Only things that couldn't be obtained were called wishes, and only people would make wishes. Tang Gua slowly opened all the gifts that she received when she was separated from her parents. They were all things that some girls liked, such as little dresses and necklaces. She looked at them for a while, and found that these things looked a little outdated now. But when she went back to that era, she knew how attentive the family Tang couple was. In the gift box, there were 3 wishes written by 3 people, hoping that she could come back. She opened the rest of the gifts one by one. From childhood to adulthood, almost every gift box had the same wish made by the 3 people together. They all hoped that Tang Gua could come back to this family. Tang Yi watched on the side. To be honest, she was very envious. Of course, she knew that she should be satisfied. Since she came to the family Tang couple had been very good to her. She was treated no different from the real family Tang's daughter. Fortunately, she had grown up under the influence of these 2 couples. Today, every word that the family Tang couple said about her showed that this family would not neglect her. Even if Tang Kui subconsciously forgot about her, the 2 of them would still help her smooth things over. She was indeed content to have such adoptive parents. If she could get Tang Kui's heart one day, she would not ask for anything else in her life, even if the Tang family did not give her anything. Big brother, you definitely haven't prepared the various outfits for Gua to attend the gathering, right? Although he didn't need it at the moment, he had to prepare some backup in case it was too late. And such a spacious cloakroom, it must be full. Tang Kui paused for a second, glanced at Tang Yi and said with a smile, "You are right, the time is too tight, I haven't had time to prepare. Brother, why don't we go shopping with Gua today? To be honest, she had never gone shopping with Tang Kuei before. Guogua, are you going today? Are you tired? If you are, you can take a rest. Tomorrow is Sunday, you can go too. Listen to Xiao Yi, let's do it in one go. Tang Guo replied. Tang Kuei patted Tang Guo's head and smiled. Okay, then I will go and arrange it now. You wait here first. I want to chat with more like-minded people. Hurry up and change into a female supporting character. Calm down. Look, talk about life. Chapter 1751. Knowing that Tang Kuei was going to take Tang Guo to buy clothes, Lin Yinghui was very happy. Don't forget Xiao Yi. Got it, Mom. Tang Kuei replied. It was a matter of etiquette. Tang Yi had followed them. He must be crazy to deliberately leave her aside and only care about his sister. If he wanted to buy something, he would definitely buy everything. However, he would only care about his biological sister. He, Tang Kuei, was such a person. If he didn't care about someone, he would never care about it. As for what Tang Yi thought, it was her business. If she felt unbalanced because of this, it was also her business. The family Tang had already treated her well. His parents were so good to her, so she didn't care about them. She wanted to compete with Guogua in everything. Was there a difference between an adopted daughter and a biological daughter? Of course there was. In his parents' hearts, he guessed that there was a difference. However, they had to take care of Tang Yi's mentality, so they didn't show it. His parents were kind and benevolent, so they didn't want the little girl to feel uncomfortable. If his parents knew that Guogua's disappearance was completely Tang Yi's selfish wish, although Tang Yi didn't know the side effects of her first wish. But Guogua's disappearance was still on her head. So, he was looking forward to what Tang Yi would do next. She had already gotten so much. Would she take out that evil thing again and make a wish to sacrifice other people's happiness for something she couldn't get? If she would, he wouldn't stop her. The evil thing's backlash would be Tang Yi's end. He would protect the family Tang and his biological sister well. If you like something later, just point it out. Tang Kuei said to Tang Guo with a smile, brother will pay for it. Buying things for his baby sister was really a good feeling. Seeing Tang Kuei spoiling its host, the system was a little anxious. Host's big cutie, why don't you show up? If you don't show up, with Tang Kuei's sister complex behavior, he may want to marry the host in the future. Tang Kuei first took the two of them to the custom-made dress shop. In one breath, he ordered dozens of dresses for Tang Guo. The people around them all felt that the man who smiled as he took out his bank card was especially handsome. They all knew Tang Kuei. When Tang Kuei came in, he said to them, "This is my sister, Guogua. She's back. Now, she's here to make a custom-made gown. Choose the most beautiful gown this year that suits her. It's best if there are some special designs and unique details. I don't want to see my sister wearing a gown with the exact same details. Xiao Yi, what do you need? Go and pick it yourself." After that, Tang Kuei sat aside and watched as Tang Guo was invited to have her measurements measured. I don't need it for the time being. Today I'm here to accompany Guogua. If you need it in the future, you can come here anytime and anywhere. Tang Yi replied with a smile. It was rare for her to sit so close to Tang Kuei. How could she miss this opportunity? Tang Yi talked with Tang Kuei from time to time. Tang Kuei said casually, and Tang Yi was very satisfied with his words. After the custom-made gown, Tang Kuei took the two of them to the shopping mall and bought all kinds of accessories for Tang Guo. At this time, Tang Guo had changed out of her old clothes. She was holding a cup of milk tea, waiting outside the shopping mall with Tang Yi. Tang Kui went to pick up the car. Want to chat with more like-minded people, quickly dressed the supporting female lead, calm down, look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1752. Guogua, I want to go to the bathroom first. Tang Yi was a little excited to drink the milk tea bought by Tang Kui for the first time. She accidentally drank a large cup of milk tea in one breath. Now she needed to pee. Tang Gua held more than half of the milk tea and nodded. Go ahead, we'll wait for you. Okay. Tang Yi quickly went to the bathroom. Tang Gua stood there alone. This was the first time she drank milk tea in her life. It should be said that after coming to this world, she really didn't have time to eat snacks. The snacks made by Chen Xian and Zhao Wen were very delicious. When she was hungry, she would go to the restaurant to eat. She rarely bought those snacks. The most important thing was that in this city, it was more troublesome to throw away the garbage. All kinds of garbage classification had driven the whole city's citizens crazy. Now Tang Gua felt a little sympathetic because she couldn't drink anymore. She didn't make any special garbage before. So, what kind of garbage classification should she throw the remaining milk tea into? She stood in front of a few garbage bins with a hesitant face. Nowadays, garbage bins were installed with cameras. Even opening the garbage bins required fingerprints and real name recognition. If she threw the wrong garbage bins, the identity of the person would be instantly identified. In a few days, a fine would be sent to her home. At the same time, her real name would be reported on the screen of the garbage bins. It was a little embarrassing to think about it. Tongzi, check what kind of garbage milk tea is for me. Okay, host. The system held back its laughter. Does the host also have times when she is hesitant? In Chen Xian and Zhao Wen's snack bar, there were very few disposable bowls and chopsticks. They were all in various small bowls. The production of strange garbage was relatively small. While the system was still checking, a young man walked over to Tang Gua. Miss, do you need help? His voice was not bad. Tang Gua raised her head. The moment she saw the other party, she showed a sweet smile. Yes, I don't know how to throw this cup of milk tea. Judging from your accent, you are not from here. Tang Gua nodded. Yes, we are a small place. The garbage classification is not so strict. It's the first time I bought milk tea here. I don't know what to do. The young and handsome man reached out his hand to Tang Gua. Leave it to me. I'll help you. Thank you very much. Tang Gua was not polite, and handed the milk tea cup to the man. She watched him open the trash with his fingerprint, pour the milk tea in the cup into a trash bin, and throw the milk tea cup into another trash bin. After doing all this, the man turned back and said to her, Miss, do you remember? This is how the milk tea will be distributed in the future. Got it. Thank you very much. The man's face was full of smiles. You're welcome. Miss, since you're living in this city, you should learn more about garbage sorting. If you encounter such difficulties in the future, it will be much easier to solve. Yes, I didn't pay attention to it before, but I will pay attention to it this time. I will go back and take a good look at the information in this area. The man took out his mobile phone, opened an app, and handed it to Tang Gua. Actually, it's not that troublesome. Miss, you might as well download this. There are various kinds of garbage classification information in it. It's very professional. No matter what kind of rubbish it was, there was nothing that this software could not solve. Even if it was a new type of rubbish, it would be properly sorted very quickly. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, quickly change into a female supporting character, calm down. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1753. Tang Gua stretched her head to take a look and saw the name of this software, Garbage Sorting Master. She simply took out her mobile phone and directly downloaded Garbage Sorting Master and registered at the same time. She scrolled through it and saw all kinds of garbage sorting. This PP not only talked about garbage sorting, but also about garbage disposal. Looking at this PP, it should belong to a certain company. There were many busy office workers who didn't have time to sort the garbage. They all placed orders here and let the company's professional garbage sorter come to their door to sort the garbage for them. Moreover, it was not expensive for a month. Spending a little money to get rid of the troubles in life, any busy office worker would not care about it. She was a bit impressed by the founder of this Pages. His thinking was really advanced. The emergence of garbage sorting has seized the market. Such a useful and standardized PP has appeared, it was a talent. Gua Gua. Tang Gua was looking at PP when she suddenly heard Tang Kuei's voice. It seemed that he saw a strange man standing beside Tang Gua. He had to get out of the car and walked over. At first, he was particularly vigilant. When he saw this young man, his brows relaxed. Tao Yu, why are you here? Of course, this was not what he wanted to ask, but why this guy was standing next to his sister. If he didn't know Tao Yu, he would really think that the other party took a fancy to his sister's beauty and wanted to cheat the little girl. When Tao Yu saw Tang Kuei, he was a bit surprised. Tang Kuei, why are you here? You busy man, don't tell me you're here to shop. He remembered that Tang Kuei called Gua Gua just now. His eyes swept between Tang Gua and Tang Kuei. His heart was not very good. Could it be that these two people are boyfriend and girlfriend? Brother. Tang Gua looked up and said with a smile, so you know this gentleman. Just now I didn't know how to dispose the garbage. Thanks to him, he also let me download a very useful PP called Garbage Sorting Master. I'm studying it. By the way, Xiaoyi went to the bathroom, let's wait. Tang Kuei breathed a sigh of relief and said to Tao Yu, this is my sister, my biological sister. Tao Yu heard Tang Kuei's serious tone. He also knew that the real Tang family's little princess was lost a long time ago. So this is it. Then, she and Tang Kuei were siblings. He didn't know why, but he was secretly happy. That bit of disappointment from before had long disappeared without a trace. Gua Gua, this is Tao Yu. He is also the founder of Garbage Sorting Master Pages. Nowadays, all the garbage sorting business in the city is monopolized by this guy. Then Big Brother Tao is really amazing. Tang Gua was not stingy with her praise. Tao Yu smiled modestly and said, I was just doing it for fun. I didn't expect it to reach this stage. However, I'm very honored to have accidentally entered this industry. Previously, when he was praised by so many people, and even when the country gave him an award, he had never been so happy. After being praised by this little girl, he actually felt drunk and lightheaded. He must have been possessed. Host, is this your big cutie? Tang Gua sneered and said, yeah, this guy is quite advanced. I didn't expect him to be a trashy president in this life. System host, it's not very good for you to call him a trashy CEO, right? Moreover, his profession is green and environmentally friendly. In the future, you won't have to worry about garbage anymore. It should be said that your whole family won't have to worry about garbage anymore. This guy will definitely pack it for you and properly distribute it. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, quickly change into a female supporting character, calm down. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1754. When Tang Yi came out, Tang Kuei said goodbye to Tao Yu and drove home with Tang Gua and Tang Yi. Tao Yu stood there for a long time, and then reluctantly withdrew his gaze. He didn't know what happened. Just now, he saw a good-looking girl standing next to the trash can from a distance. Unconsciously, he walked over and saw that she was worried about the trash in her hand. Without thinking, he went up and asked her if she needed help. It was the first time in his life that he was willing to help others, and it was to help people throw out the trash. Although he was the boss of a garbage company, it was really not his turn to throw out the trash. What was more unexpected was that this good-looking girl was actually Tao Yu's biological sister, the little miss of the family Tang. Thinking of her small face and voice, he felt a little better. In such a short period of time, she had actually left such a deep impression in his mind. It was really strange. Tang Yi also knew Tao Yu. She knew that Tao Yu had a good relationship with Tang Kuei, but she was not familiar with him. Sitting in the car, she was still thinking about how Tao Yu and Tang Guo were talking and laughing just now. It seemed that they had a good relationship. Guogua, do you know Mr. Tao? Tang Guo shook her head. No. Then you seem to be very familiar with each other. Not very familiar. I didn't know how to throw out the trash just now. Fortunately, Brother Tao helped me solve my problem. I didn't expect him to be a good friend of my brother. Was that it? Therefore, Tang Guo and Tao Yu had only just met. Tang Guo just returned to the family Tang today. She also just knew her real identity. Tao Yu probably didn't know that Tang Guo was the little miss of the family Tang, right? So, Tang Guo didn't know how to throw out the trash. Why was he so kind to help her? She was not familiar with Tao Yu, but she had seen him many times. As far as she knew, Tao Yu was not the kind of person who was very warm-hearted. Especially when it came to girls, he basically avoided them. He was so good-looking and the founder of a new garbage sorting company. There were countless admirers around him, among which there was no lack of young ladies from very good families. She had never seen Tao Yu so enthusiastic as to personally instruct others on how to separate the garbage. Tao Yu was also indifferent to her, but why was he different to Tang Guo? Because Tao Yu and Tang Kuei were good friends, Tang Yi didn't like it. Although she had been suppressing her jealousy, when many things really happened, it was impossible for her to not care. Tang Yi didn't ask anymore. If she asked too obviously, it would easily arouse Tang Kuei's disgust and make her seem aggressive. Now, she had to build a good relationship with Tang Guo. Since Tang Kuei doted on his biological sister so much, he would definitely appear by Tang Guo's side often. Wherever Tang Guo was, it was much easier to see Tang Kuei. Tang Guo felt that the way Tang Yi looked at her was a little different. She slightly lowered her head, lowered her eyes, and slightly raised the corners of her mouth. So, Tang Yi was planning to stay here and see Tang Kuei often. She wanted to see if he could take it or not. Since the little miss of the family Tang family had returned, the family Tang family would definitely hold a banquet to announce her return, which could be regarded as a way to clear her name. The banquet was scheduled to be next Saturday night. As for this weekend, the family Tang family was not busy. Even Tang Yi cancelled her date with her classmates and stayed at home all the time. She wanted to chat with more like-minded people, so she quickly changed into a female supporting role. Calm down. Talk about life. Find a confidant. Chapter 1755. After all, Tang Yi was still a high school student. She only had the chance to stay with Tang Guo on weekends. She had to go back to school on Monday. Even if she was a day student, she could not see Tang Guo every day. Tang Guo was also a student, a college student. They had agreed before that she would not live in the family Tang every day. At most, she would occasionally find time to live with them. Tang Yi wanted to build a good relationship with Tang Guo, so she had no time to do these things. Although the banquet would be held next Saturday night, those who were well informed all knew that the little miss of the Tang family had come back. Even Tang Yi's classmates also knew that the real miss of the Tang family had come back. They looked at her with subtle eyes. Tang Yi felt it, but she did not care about it. She thought that these people were just jealous of her and wanted to see her make a fool of herself. If Mr. and Mrs. Tang were really cold and distant to her, then it might be a real joke. Other things might be disappointing. Her status in the Tang family had not changed. Tang Yi told her good friends about her attitude. Xiao Yi, do you really think that biological children and non-biological children are treated the same? Of course it's different. Believe it or not, when it comes to taking care of the family, your parents will definitely choose their biological daughter, not you. Xiao Yi, from now on, you have to plan for yourself. Don't be careless. If you don't fight for it, you are a fool. Yes, Xiao Yi, now many people are waiting to see you make a fool of yourself. You'd better be careful. By the way, is the real Miss easy to get along with? Tang Yi replied, she has a good character. My parents' attitude towards me has not changed. Don't worry about it. Although she said so, her friend's words were deeply imprinted in her heart. That's right. How could a biological child and an adopted child be the same? Of course, they were different. She could accept this. After all, her parents were really good to her. How does she look? Is she as beautiful as you? What kind of family did she live in before? Can she fit into our circle and get used to the life of a rich girl? The two friends asked one after another. Tang Yi slightly frowned and replied, it should be fine. It should be said that Tang Guo was very beautiful. She had to admit that she was prettier than her. After all, Mother Tang was a great beauty when she was young, and Father Tang was even more so. As for whether she could integrate into the social circle and get used to the life of a rich young lady, she did not see the slightest bit of rustic in Tang Guo. Host, I've been thinking about it, and I feel that something is wrong with this world. On this day, Tang Kuei was busy in his office. He asked 111 to help him choose a gift for Tang Guo. The gift he intended to give to Tang Guo was definitely not something that could be bought with money in this world. Instead, he let the system choose from the Space Mall. He would choose a few unique ones and wait for him to finish his work before making the final selection. In addition, he also needed to choose 2 life-saving talismans for the Tang couple, in case Tang Yi made some strange wishes, which would cause them to die accidentally, which would ruin his mission. Hearing 111's words, he felt that something was wrong. What's wrong? 111 thought for a while and said, I just checked the plot. At this time, shouldn't your sister's adoptive parents die in an accident? I want to chat with more like-minded people. Hurry up and change into a female supporting character. Calm down. Look, talk about life. Chapter 1756. No, it should be said that on the day of Tang Guo's college entrance examination, her adoptive parents both died in a car accident. How could they open a snack bar outside Tang Guo's college? Also, Tang Yi. Why did she have a fever and was sent to the emergency room for a month during the college entrance examination? According to the original track, she should have been admitted to that college. Even if it's the butterfly effect caused by your transmigration, you haven't done anything yet. How could it affect so far away? Hearing this, Tang Kuei laughed in a low voice, that's why you can only rely on me. If you were a stupid host, would you still have the chance to get the reward from the excellent system every year? Hearing Tang Kuei's words, 111 said in horror, Host, did you already know something was wrong? When? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't I notice it at all? Because you're stupid, and blind. How could you notice it? What's the use of discussing with a stupid teammate like you? These changes don't affect my mission. On the contrary, the result is quite good. Why should I care so much? So, what his host meant was that as long as it didn't affect his mission, no matter what strange things happened, it didn't matter, right? He always felt that his host was in the wrong line of work. How could such a person be a task taker? He didn't care about what he did. If it didn't affect him, he didn't care. He didn't look like a member of the Space Administration at all. Instead, he was more like a member of the opposite party. Of course, he could only whisper these words in his heart. He didn't dare to say it out loud. The feeling of being thrown into Xiao Hei's house to reflect on one's mistakes was not so good. 111 said pitifully, "Host, I want to ask, why did these changes happen?" "Host, you're a wise and smart person. You must know it." Tang Kuei seemed to be in a good mood. He said patiently, "Before I met my sister, I suspected that there were 3 people who changed these things. They were Tang Guo, Chen Xian, and Zhao Wen. As for Tang Yi's problem, I guess it's because Chen Xian and Zhao Wen are fine. Because of the backlash of the lucky charm, she suddenly had a high fever in the examination room." 111 was curious, "What about now? Who was the one who was wrong?" "Yes, he was stupid, but he was also smart. For example, he had hugged a golden thigh and refused to let go. He was shameless and shameless. That was the right thing to do. The Space Administration only looked at the results, not the process. He was willing to be an amusing system for the host. Based on my analysis, this strange person should be my baby sister." Tang Kuei's lips curled into a smile. "She's much smarter than I thought," 111 said in shock. "Then, has she been reborn?" Tang Kuei chuckled. "You 3 little ones, I suggest you go to the little dark room and think about this problem. Think clearly before you come out." 111 said fearfully, "What about the gift selection?" "All right, go and pick out the best gift. You don't have to save money for me." After escaping the little black room, 111 hurriedly went to choose a gift. With his stupid appearance, it was better not to stay here and be an eyesore to the host. "Dad, Mom, isn't this but very convenient?" Tang Guo was recommending the garbage sorting masters but to Chen Xian and Zhao Wen. "If you want to chat with more like-minded people, you have to be calm. Look, talk about life, find a confidant." Chapter 1757. The 2 of them had just arrived at the snack bar, so they did not know many people. As for the problem of garbage sorting, the 2 of them had studied it thoroughly. The garbage in the kitchen was a little more troublesome. Although it was not too troublesome, it was still quite time-consuming to sort it out carefully every day. Basically, the employees of the company would pick up the garbage at a designated time. It was cheap and very convenient. It saved a lot of effort. Although many shops had employees who were there to take out the garbage, they did not want to spend a lot of money. But in this snack bar, the people who sorted the garbage were usually the ones doing it. Most of the time, they only started to do it when the shop was about to close. They were busy until late every day. Tang Guo suggested this to them. Firstly, she wanted them to be more relaxed. Secondly, she wanted to give some people a chance. Trash CEO. She was a little interested in this kind of man. After the couple was recommended to the garbage sorting company, they placed an order on the same day. Basically, the garbage sorting company would only come to collect the garbage when the number of customers on the street reached a certain number. Tao Yu's garbage sorting company, in addition to collecting garbage, also came with a garbage disposal terminal. The disposal method was very environmentally friendly and advanced. That was why he was awarded a national award. He had made money, gained fame, done good deeds, and supported a large number of people. How could he not be praised? What kind of person was Tao Yu? The first time he saw the young girl, he already had someone in his mind. After thinking about it for 2 days, he felt that he could not see her and felt uncomfortable. Naturally, he went to find out where the young girl was now. He heard that her adoptive parents ran a snack bar. He had already had his eyes on this snack bar and even asked people to keep an eye on it. Just as he guessed, Tang Guo would definitely use his garbage sorting company to place an order. President Tao, that snack bar has placed an order. Go and collect the garbage for them. But, Chairman Tao, they haven't reached the designated number of customers yet. I estimate that they'll arrive in 2 hours. In the future, no matter how many orders there are, as long as they place an order, even if it's only one shop, even if it's in the middle of the night, you all go and collect the garbage. Those who collect the garbage will have their wages increased by 3 times. This time, no one was unwilling to do it. After they left, Tao Yu also prepared to leave the company. He still had matters to attend to, so of course, he couldn't stay in the office. When the people from the garbage sorting company came over, Chen Xian and Zhao Wen saw that they were cleaning up the garbage swiftly. The price was not expensive, so they felt a lot more relaxed. Although sorting the trash wasn't that troublesome, it was still more time-consuming. They had to cook every day, so it was quite tiring. At this time, it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There were basically no customers in the shop. However, there was a car parked next to the garbage truck outside the store. A man got out of the car. He glanced at the snack bar and finally walked in. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen hurriedly greeted him. After seeing the family Tang and all kinds of red queens, they were not surprised at all why someone would drive a luxury car to eat in a snack bar. They also understood that their own snacks might really be extraordinary. They were very delicious. Although they ate it, it was all right. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly delicious either. I want to chat with more like-minded people. Hurry up and change into a female supporting character. Calm down. Look, talk about life. Find a confidant. Chapter 1758. Tao Yu found a place to sit down and ordered 2 snacks. The couple naturally went in to make fresh snacks for him. Their snacks were always fresh, which was why they were so popular. The waiters in the shop were not working at this time, so Zhao Wen called for Tang Guo. Xiao Guo, there's a guest. Go and pour a cup of tea for the guest. When Tang Guo came out with the teapot, she saw Tao Yu sitting steadily in his seat. Tao Yu was looking at his phone with his head buried in his hands. That pretentious look really made the system want to laugh to death. If it didn't know that the host's big cutie would definitely find an excuse to come here, it would really believe that this was just a coincidence. Sure enough, when Tang Guo poured a cup of tea for him, he was just about to say thank you when he looked up and saw Tang Guo. He changed the topic and said with a bit of surprise, Xiao Guo. Brother Tao, why are you here? Tang Guo pretended not to know anything and asked while pouring tea for Tao Yu. Tao Yu raised his phone and showed it to Tang Guo. Isn't there a very delicious snack shop on the internet recently? My brother also likes these snacks, so I plan to come and take a look. If it's hygienic and tastes good, I'll bring him here next time. Why didn't I know about Tao Yu's brother, Tao Hao? Why didn't my brother tell me about this? So it's like this. Brother Tao is afraid that the snack shop is not hygienic and is not as good as the internet says, so you came here to see the situation. If it's good, you'll bring your brother here. If it's not good, you'll take some small photos to show your brother how bad this shop is, right? The system laughed, digging a hole for itself. It's still the same as before. The host is also the same, always likes to tease people. No, actually, to be able to be liked by so many people, I don't think there's any problem with hygiene. Tao Yu looked straight into Tanggua's beautiful eyes, afraid that she would misunderstand something, so he quickly explained, "Today, I was just passing by and suddenly thought of this, so I wanted to come in and try it first. Actually, I was also attracted by it. I didn't expect to meet Xiaogua here." "Oh right, Xiaogua, why are you here?" He obviously knew everything, but he still pretended to ask. Tanggua did not expose her. She said that this was her foster parents' snack bar and that they often helped out here. "So that's how it is." Since the topic had been opened, Tao Yu pointed at the garbage truck outside. "Have you also placed an order?" "Yeah, it's all thanks to Big Brother Tao. I think that Big Brother Tao's buttocks and service should be pretty good, so I told my parents. Today, they plan to try it out, and it's as good as expected." Tao Yu unconsciously took out a card from his pocket. "Then I'll give you a gold membership card. Your brother and I are good friends, so I hope you won't refuse." "What is this membership card for?" Tao Yu spat out, "Lifetime 30% discount, garbage collection system, ha ha ha." Sure enough, he was a trashy CEO. The things he gave were also different. A trashy gold membership card with a 30% discount. There was no one else who could do this. Only Tao Yu could think of something like this. He had made such a big fuss just to personally deliver a rubbish membership card to Tanggua. Since Big Brother Tao is like this, I won't be polite. After all, he had already used her brother as an excuse. If she didn't accept it, it would cause him to be busy for half a day. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, hurry up and change into a female supporting character, calm down. Look, chat about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1759. My dear host, I guess there should be a top-level card, which may be a lifetime membership card and free garbage collection. I'm guessing that he wants to give you that, but he's afraid of causing unnecessary misunderstandings. He's planning to approach you step by step, and when the time comes, it'll be logical. This guy is very careful in everything he does. He has a good plan. Fortunately, he met my dear host, who can pretend to know nothing. If it was another person, who knows what he is thinking. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen also knew that Tao Yu and Tanggua knew each other. He was a good friend of Tanggua's brother and had helped Tanggua before. They also knew that he was the founder of Garbage Sorting Master. In an instant, they looked at Tao Yu in a different way. In their eyes, such a young man who kept pace with the times was really excellent. Knowing that Tao Yu gave them a garbage membership card, they said that today's snacks were treated to Tao Yu. If he wanted to eat it in the future, they would give him a discount. In fact, according to their character, it was possible to directly say that it was free. But Tao Yu was not short of money. If they said it was free, Tao Yu might be embarrassed. It was more appropriate to say that it was a discount. Tao Yu behaved very well in front of the two. They chatted with each other, and there was no generation gap at all. No matter what they said, Tao Yu could answer. In short, in the eyes of the couple, this was a very excellent young man. The system clicked its tongue. It wanted to deal with the host's adoptive parents first. They were so smart. It was Friday. Tomorrow was Saturday. On Saturday night, the family Tang held a banquet for Tanggua. On Friday afternoon, Tang Yi appeared in the snack bar with several of her friends. Tang Yi originally wanted to eat the snacks in the snack bar. After a week of school, she made an appointment with her friends to eat on Friday because there was a party on Saturday. She did not expect to see Tanggua here. At the same time, she remembered that she had seen Tanggua somewhere before. It turned out that the first time they met was in this snack bar. If she guessed correctly, the reason why Tang Guo was recognized was most likely because her parents brought her to the snack bar to eat snacks. When they saw Tang Guo, they thought she looked a little like the younger Mrs. Tang. Yes, when she went back and looked through the photos, she realized that Mrs. Tang Guo and the young Mrs. Tang had a 70% resemblance. Tang Yi had mixed feelings when she came to this conclusion. At that time, she was thinking that if she hadn't insisted on coming to this shop to eat snacks, Father and Mother Tang wouldn't have met Tang Guo. If he couldn't meet Tang Guo, he wouldn't be able to find Tang Guo. If they couldn't find Tang Guo, she would forever be their only daughter. The originally delicious snack, in Tang Yi's mouth, was actually tasteless. It was because of her gluttony that she ended up like this. She hated herself a little. Tang Guo was her parents' daughter, but she was actually thinking about these things. Tang Yi's appearance was seen by Tang Guo. Neither she nor Tang Kui took the initiative to do anything excessive to Tang Yi. But Tang Yi was entangled and even regretted it because of her own imagination. It was obvious that Tang Yi was going to follow the old path. Little Yi, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with the taste? Tang Yi heard Tang Guo's question and quickly shook her head. No, it's delicious. I want to chat with more like-minded people. Hurry up and change into a female supporting character. Calm down. Look, talk about life. Chapter 1760. I haven't eaten such delicious food for a week, and I'm tired from studying, so I'm a little tired. Then eat quickly and go back to rest. Tang Guo said with a smile, I felt that I had seen you before, and now I remember that you've been here before. Tang Yi's face changed a little, but soon she smiled again. Yes, it turns out that this restaurant belongs to your adoptive parents. Auntie and uncle are really good at cooking such delicious food. Especially when she saw Chen Xian and Zhao Wen doting on Tang Guo, she felt sad in her heart. Why was there such a big difference between people? Even if Tang Guo was lost, she didn't suffer any hardship. Even if her adoptive parents were not rich, Tang Guo still lived a happy life. Now for Tang Guo, they gave up their original business and spent a lot of money to open a restaurant here. How much did they love Tang Guo? So did her parents. Tang Guo had been lost for more than 10 years, but they didn't forget her. Instead, they remembered her more and more deeply. But she was different. Even if her parents were still alive, they didn't dote on her so much. She remembered that when she was very young, about 3 or 4 years old, her parents always quarreled with each other, and her mother often beat her. Later, both of them died in an accident, and her grandparents didn't recognize her because she was a girl. Those relatives didn't care about her at all. No one wanted such a burden. In the end, she was sent to the orphanage. As for Tang Guo, it seemed that no matter where she went, she was always the center of attention. So many people liked her. Xiao Yi, who is she? Is she your friend or classmate? After Tang Guo went in, Tang Yi's friends couldn't help but ask her. Tang Yi certainly couldn't lie. After all, these friends would see Tang Guo at the banquet tomorrow night, and they would know her identity. She took a deep breath and said, She's my parents' biological daughter. She's Tang Guo. This restaurant is owned by her adoptive parents. Really? Her friends were very surprised. Then they looked at Tang Guo with a complicated look. Previously, they had all thought that Tang Guo, who had been raised outside, would definitely not be as good as them, the legitimate young ladies. Who would have thought that with her slender figure, fair skin, cherry-like lips, and oval face, she was so much prettier than them. Her voice sounded extremely sweet, and her temperament was not weakened by her appearance or voice. No matter how one looked at her, she looked like a rich young lady. Tang Yi didn't have a good time eating with her friends this time. She said that she would go back after eating with them. On the way back, her friend reminded her softly, "Shelly, I think this rich young lady is not simple. You have to be careful. I did a check before, and her grades are pretty good. With her grades, she could have applied for a better school, but in the end, she chose this place. I suspect that she knew something in advance." "Is that so?" Tang Yi didn't believe it. After all, if Tang Guo really knew her real identity, why didn't she find her home by herself? It was all thanks to her gluttony that she was able to meet her parents. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to meet them. Don't think too much. With your parents' character, even if they can't give you so much, they won't treat you badly. However, they would definitely feel guilty towards their own daughter. If this rich young lady wanted more, they would definitely side with her. This is the reason why we advise you to plan more for yourself. Not long after Tang Yi returned to the villa, she saw Tang Guo getting out of Tang Kuei's car upstairs. Her face changed a little, and then she finally went downstairs to greet them. She had a smile on her face. "Xiaoguo, is it your brother who picked you up?" "Yes, my brother should be on the way," Tang Guo replied. Tang Yi was a little sullen. "Maybe on the way." She remembered that the company and Tang Guo's school were not on the way at all. So, it was Tang Kuei who picked her up in person. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, you have to be calm. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1761. Finally, it was the night of the banquet on Saturday. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen asked the staff to take care of the store. It was such a big event. The family Tang would definitely invite them, who were very important to Tang Guo's adoptive parents, to attend the banquet. That night, Tang Guo wore the dress that Tang Kuei had tailored for her last time. It was a very beautiful blue dress. When she wore it, she looked like a princess. When she was led down by Tang Kuei, all the people at the banquet were attracted by her. Because of her appearance, countless female guests at the banquet were overshadowed, including Tang Yi. Even if Tang Yi had dressed up carefully, she could not stand out in front of Tang Guo. Before they came, many people were still guessing what the young lady of the family Tang would look like now. According to the appearance of Tang Kuei and Lin Yinghui, she should not be bad. But this young lady was raised outside. Although she was not bad, she was not necessarily presentable. After all, in their circle, etiquette and manners were very important. Now that they saw her appearance, they did not look down on her at all. They muttered silently in their hearts, how could she be raised outside? If they did not know that the family Tang couple had never given up looking for Tang Guo over the years. They were afraid that they had secretly taken their daughter to some castle to cultivate. The people who came to the banquet naturally praised Tang Guo. Tang Yongbua and Lin Yinghui were all smiling, taking Tang Guo with them. Even at this time, they did not ignore Tang Yi. Tang Yi had been following Lin Yinghui, which meant that Lin Yinghui and Tang Yongbua stood in the middle, one on the left and the other on the right. As her brother, Tang Kuei could only stand on the side, next to Tang Guo. He did not care about this. Even so, no one could ignore him. The family Tang people did not ignore Tang Yi, but these outsiders were not necessarily so. They didn't care whether Tang Yi was comfortable or not. They only knew that the daughter of the family Tang family was back. She seemed to be a good person. She was someone that the family Tang couple treated as a treasure. Now, he definitely had to get to know them well. Maybe in the future, he might even become in-laws with the Tang family. Originally, Tang Yi was the most popular person at the banquet, but now it was Tang Guo. So, Tang Yi didn't feel good at all. Naturally, she felt uncomfortable. She maintained a smile the entire time, but no one seemed to notice her. Those who were once passionate towards her seemed to have disappeared. When it came to dancing, many people of the same generation came forward to invite Tanguo to dance. After being politely rejected by Tanguo, those people remembered her and invited her to dance. It felt like she was picking up Tanguo's leftovers. Although he said that he didn't care, how could he not care at a time like this? After she politely declined, she and a few of her little friends held a wine glass and whispered to each other. The girls who were at the same level as the family Tang had already come to Tanguo, talking and laughing with her. They originally thought that they had nothing in common with Tanguo, but they didn't expect that they would be so relaxed when they talked about the topic. Tanguo was not afraid at all. They originally wanted to talk about the topic with her, but the conversation would go to other places, and she could easily pick it up. If you want to talk with more like-minded people, you have to be calm. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1762. At this moment, they were even more eager to interact more with this real rich young lady. They didn't dislike Tang Yi, but they didn't get along well with her. They didn't have much contact with Tang Yi before because Tang Yi had her own circle. They came to support the real young lady for the sake of politeness and face. After getting familiar with her, they felt that they could get along with her in the future. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen were a little worried at first. After all, Tang Guo was lost when she was very young. They were afraid that she couldn't fit in. Now that they saw that she was like a fish in water, they weren't worried anymore. Maybe it was a person's talent. In fact, the original Lin Mingya didn't perform very well on this day. How could she not have stage fright without training since she was young? It was such a big party. Even an adult would have stage fright. Tang Guo was used to big occasions. Naturally, she wouldn't be timid. Xiao Guo, can I invite you to dance? Tao Yu was relieved when he saw Tang Guo politely refuse other people before, but he was a little nervous. She could refuse other people, so she could refuse him. But in this rare opportunity, he still wanted to invite her to a dance. He didn't know why, since he saw Tang Guo, his mind was full of her wherever she wasn't. Wherever she was, his eyes could only see her. Tao Yu suspected that this was love at first sight. He didn't dare to act rashly. He planned to get to know her for a while and then planned slowly. The reason why he said that he needed to plan was because the family Tang couple and Tang Kuei wouldn't easily hand over their little princess. Now Tang Guo and her adoptive parents had a good impression of him. The family Tang couple also had a good impression of him. Tang Kuei was his good friend. But what he was going to do might annoy these three people. He had to be careful not to let them find out what he was thinking. Brother Tao. Tao Yu smiled. It was different from the smile on his face when he saw Tang Guo. After all, they were in public, and he had to maintain his image. In the past, he had always kept a safe distance from these people and ignored them. His sudden change in appearance would easily attract the attention of many people, who would suspect that his persona had collapsed. Sure. Seeing that everyone was looking at her, Tang Guo gladly agreed. Take it as a thank you for your help last time, Brother Tao. At first, there were still some strange looks in the surroundings, but now they understood. This Tao Yu was indeed very familiar with the Tang family. It was not strange that Tang Guo knew him. It wasn't strange that his attitude towards Tang Guo was different. After all, he was very close to Tang Kuei. Moreover, from what Tang Guo said, it seemed that the two of them were still in contact. Countless people breathed a sigh of relief. They knew it. This Tao Yu had always been indifferent to others, so why would he suddenly invite a little girl to dance? He was probably afraid that Tang Guo would get stage fright, so he pretended to be a big brother to help her. Tao Yu didn't know that if it weren't for Tang Guo's words, his invitation to Tang Guo to dance was enough to collapse his persona. At this time, he was still feeling complacent that Tang Guo agreed to dance with him. Tang Yi saw that it was Tao Yu and Tang Guo who were dancing, but she didn't think much of it. She secretly glanced at Tang Kuei and saw that Tang Kuei was looking at the two people on the dance floor with a smile on his face. Tang Kuei pursed his lips slightly. The peak. Chapter 1763. She didn't know when Tang Kuei would invite her to dance. She would have her 18th birthday soon. She didn't know if she could ask Tang Kuei to dance with her. Thinking of this, Tang Yi's heart beat fast, and her face became red. Afraid of being seen by others, she turned around and went to the bathroom. After hiding in the bathroom for a while, she was about to open the door and go out. Suddenly, there was a small discussion outside, which made her give up opening the door. The real daughter is really the real daughter. Even if she was raised outside, she still looks so good. Whether it's appearance or bearing, she is the best. Even if she was raised since she was a child, she can't be compared with the real daughter. You can't say that. It's just that the real daughter is really outstanding. Looking at our circle, there are not many people of the same generation who can be compared with Tang Yi. If she wasn't lucky enough to be taken back to the family Tang family and be carefully cultivated by the family Tang couple, would she be so outstanding? Speaking of which, if the real daughter wasn't lost, would she have such a good life? The person who said this was obviously jealous of Tang Yi's good life. Tang Yi understood it, but what the other person said really poked her sore spot. Shh, keep your voice down. Today we are not here to make trouble. Whether it's real or not, she is the daughter of the family Tang family. Didn't you see that even if the real daughter came back, she was still taken by the family Tang couple? This attitude tells us that they also care about the adopted daughter. Okay, she is so lucky. I feel a little unfair for the Tang Guo. She was really unlucky. When she was a child, she was lost, and her parents loved another fake daughter for more than 10 years. Now she is back, and the fake daughter is still at home. Her parents' love also has to be shared with the fake daughter. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to bear it. Well, don't talk about it. If it is heard by others, won't it offend them? It's other people's business. We can't interfere. Besides, it doesn't make sense that when the real daughter comes back, they have to throw away the fake daughter. Raising a kitten or a puppy is not a bad thing. The two people's voices gradually became lower. The footsteps were getting farther and farther away. Hearing that there was no more noise, Tang Yi came out from the inside. Her face was very ugly. When she returned to the banquet, even if no one was talking about her, she was still very unhappy. Lin Yinghui saw that she had taken a long time to come out and came over to ask her if she was feeling unwell. She forced a smile and shook her head, indicating that she was fine. The gazes from the people around her made her feel uncomfortable. She had a feeling that those people who glanced at her and then lowered their heads to continue whispering were discussing what she had just heard. Actually, it was obvious that the people who came here were not fools. How could they possibly discuss such things in public? But Tang Yi always felt that these people were talking about her. The more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. If it weren't for a few of her close friends, she would have been embarrassed. Tang Guo had already finished a dance with Tao Yu. At this moment, she was surrounded by the daughters of various families, chatting happily. Tang Yi, who was good at playing, also sat in a group. Most of them were her former classmates whom she had known since she was very young. When the family Tang couple saw that Tang Guo had integrated into the group so quickly, the last bit of worry in their hearts disappeared and they gave her full authority. As for Tang Kuei, he was not worried at all. Host, you just smiled mysteriously. Are you thinking about something bad? I'm wondering if your program is loaded with bean dregs. Chapter 1764. After the banquet last time, Tangua's outstanding performance left a deep impression on the people in this circle. No one could shake the status of the little princess of the family Tang family. Later, a few daughters of rich families thought that they had a good chat and wanted to make friends with Tangua. Tangua naturally would not refuse friends with good intentions. Moreover, with her current status, it was indeed necessary for her to make friends in this circle. After a while, everyone became familiar with each other. On weekends, these daughters would call Tangua and ask her to have fun. Otherwise, Tangua would invite them to family Tang. Later, Tangua asked them if they liked to eat snacks. Her foster parents ran a snack bar. If they liked something, they could go directly to the shop and she would treat them. Although they were all daughters of rich families with extraordinary family backgrounds. It was the same when they encountered delicious food. Moreover, they heard that it was a snack recommended by countless celebrities. They found a time and came at noon. The daughters of rich families, who were originally of extraordinary status, dressed very simply when they came here. In particular, each of them had a loose-fitting t-shirt, as if they were preparing to eat to their heart's content. Chen Xian and Zhao Wen looked at these daughters, who did not care about trifles, and they liked them a little. They were very happy that their daughter could integrate into their circle so quickly. Tang Yi and Tangua could only meet once a week. Based on the current situation, Tang Yi would not explode for the time being. As for when she would not be able to hold back, Tangua did not know. Before the banquet, she had already given the life-saving talismans to the family Tang couple and also told them to carry them with them. This time, the life-saving talisman she gave them was a two-handed bracelet, which looked like Buddha beads. The couple were somewhat of a believer in Buddhism, and she could be considered to have catered to their interests. Dad, Mom, when I came back from a business trip this time, I specially asked for a protective talisman for our family at the temple. During the weekend meal, Tang Kui took out 4 gift boxes. The moment he took them out, Tangua felt a special power. Even if this world did not have such special powers, her soul was incomparably strong. However, her soul was incomparably strong, and she was very sensitive to such powers. Tang Kui pushed 2 boxes in front of Tang Yongbua and Lin Yinghui first, and the other 2 boxes in front of Tangua and Tang Yi. Tangua clearly felt that the thing in the box in front of Tang Yi didn't have any special power, so it should be just an ordinary thing. She took the box and opened it. She found a jade pendant in the shape of a water droplet. There were no other complicated carvings on it. Tang Yi also opened it. Naturally, there was a similar jade pendant inside. The designs were all young and suitable for young girls. You actually remembered to bring us gifts. Tang Yongbua and Lin Yinghui looked at each other and opened their boxes. Tang Yongbua's was a jade plate with a picture of the goddess of mercy. Lin Yinghui's was an exquisite Buddha head pendant, which was very suitable for women. It looks pretty good. Tang Yongbua was a person who understood jade. You little brat, you really put in a lot of effort this time. You must have spent a lot, right? It's filial piety. It's not a matter of money. Tang Kui said, these are all consecrated. Mom and Dad, you must wear them closely. Lin Yinghui nodded, you two brother and sister really have the same idea. Guogua also gave us a bracelet of Buddha beads. She said it was consecrated and we should wear it all the time. Oh. Is that so? Tang Kui's eyes fell on the wrists of the two. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, quickly change into a female supporting role and calm down. Look, talk about life and find confidence. Chapter 1765. Tang Kui saw the bracelets on Lin Yinghui and Tang Yongbua's wrists. Host, special energy has been detected. It's more powerful than the things we exchanged in the system store. So, the host's sister was probably a fake one. In the system store, things like this would cost a lot of money. Tang Kuei said, "Got it." His eyes fell on Tang Guo's face and asked, "Guo, you only prepared a gift for our parents, but not for your brother. Kuei, how can you ask your sister for something?" Lin Yinghui quickly defended her son. "You're the brother. It's your sister who should give you something." Tang Kuei smiled. "Well, although I want to receive a gift from my sister, Mom is right." The family Tang couple had already put on the gifts prepared by Tang Kuei. Tang Guo also put on the gifts. Tang Yi was even faster. It could be said that receiving a gift from Tang Kuei was the happiest thing for her in a while. "I also prepared a gift for my brother," Tang Guo said to Tang Kuei after putting on the gifts. Since he had asked for it and even gave her a gift, she had to return the favor. "Oh, is that so?" Tang Kuei smiled. "I don't know what it is. I don't know what my brother likes, so I prepared a bracelet for the whole family. It's the kind that has been consecrated in the temple." System host, a lie needs thousands of lies to cover it up. However, he looked at Tang Kuei's eyes as if he already knew, so he didn't expose him. And his host seemed to have the same plan. Therefore, this time, the two of them did not intend to play the same scene as the last time, where they would play the "brother, sister, have you been reborn too?" This time, it should be, "Brother, sister, we don't know anything about each other. We've always been close. Bracelets. I like them too. They've been consecrated. I'm looking forward to it." Tang Kuei looked like he was really looking forward to his sister's gift. Of course, he was also looking forward to it. The couple could only smile and let them eat first, then discuss the gift. After the meal, Tang Kuei couldn't wait to ask Tang Guo to go back and show him the gift. He was really looking forward to it. Tang Guo had to go back to her room. Qi Xiao helped her make a lot of such things. She chose a bracelet suitable for Tang Kuei and put it in a brocade box. In addition, she asked the system to help her to choose a female bracelet in the system space mall. System, even if everyone was wearing the same thing, the way they did things was even more intimate than the way they did things. If one wasn't in the know, who would have known that there was such a subtle difference in treatment? Tang Guo handed 2 boxes to Tang Kuei and Tang Yi respectively. "Host, the gift your sister gave you also contains a very powerful and mysterious power. My suggestion is that when you leave this world, you can put this Buddhist bead bracelet into the system space and take it away." Tang Kuei, where is Tang Yi? 111, have no power. 111. Hearing this result, Tang Kuei laughed softly. Tang Yi thought that Tang Kuei was happy because of Tang Guo's gift. She was not interested in the bracelet at all. But Tang Guo gave it to her face, so she still pretended to like it. In front of Tang Guo, Tang Kuei put the Buddhist bead bracelet on his wrist. If you want to talk with more like-minded people, you should be calm. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. Chapter 1766. It's just right. Guogua has good taste. I like it very much. He stared at Tang Guo, paused for 3 seconds, and continued, "I'll wear it all the time." The moment he put it on his wrist, Tang Kuei felt that his soul was refreshed, and the smile on his lips deepened. This was probably something that his good sister had prepared long ago. She wanted to give him something to clear his mind, so that he would not be bewitched and corrupted by the evil spirit. Even if his mind was not clear, he could feel that this thing was also good for him. As long as you like it. Tang Guo showed a sweet smile. Tang Kuei said matter-of-factly, "Of course I like it since it's a gift from my sister." Tang Yi looked at the two of them and quickly interrupted, "Brother, I've also prepared gifts for everyone." "Oh, is that so?" Tang Kuei said lightly. There was no joy on his face, nor anything else. Tang Yi went back to her room and gave the gifts to Tang Gua and Tang Yi first. She gave Tang Gua a necklace, and gave Tang Kuei a watch. "Thank you for the gifts, Xiaoyi." Tang Kuei thanked her politely, but he did not intend to wear the watch, which made Tang Yi feel very sad. She pursed her lips slightly and said, "I'll go and give the gifts to Mom and Dad." She received a lot of praise from the family Tang couple, and they even put on the gifts in front of her. In the next few days, Tang Yi observed that the whole family was wearing the gifts that Tang Gua gave them all the time. As for the gifts that she gave, even the family Tang couple only wore them for a day or two, and then put them away. Although it was like this in the past, she still felt very sad. She didn't know that the three of them were wearing the gifts from Tang Gua because they doted on Tang Gua and she told them not to. Not to mention that Tang Kuei knew the benefits of the bracelet, the family Tang couple clearly felt that the bracelet was really different from not wearing it. In the end, they were very convinced that the bracelet was really consecrated by a senior monk, and naturally, they were willing to wear it every day. In the following days, Tang Yi always looked for opportunities to contact Tang Kuei. Tang Kuei treated her the same as before, distant and cold. There was no comparison before, but now there was Tang Gua. Tang Yi really couldn't stand it. What really made her sad was that she had originally planned to ask Tang Kuei to dance with her at her birthday party. She had already told the people around her that she would definitely be able to dance with her brother. Unexpectedly, Tang Kuei attended a social event that day and drank a lot. He looked drunk and his face was very red. Then, he came back to her birthday party. Seeing Tang Kuei walk in and needing Tang Gua's help to walk, she really couldn't bring herself to ask. "Host, you've hurt the little girl's heart." Tang Kuei said, "What little girl?" "She's just a little bitch. She's not my cup of tea." The system and Tang Guo were pretending to be drunk. That's right, people who have read the story should know that Tang Yi would invite Tang Kuei to dance. As the eldest brother, he really didn't want to embarrass Tang Yi that day, so he agreed. Tang Kuei didn't want to make himself suffer, so he had to think of a way. Late at night, Tang Yi remembered that Tang Kuei was still so cold to her, and her heart was very depressed. Unconsciously, she also drank a lot today. She was looking through the gifts that Tang Kuei gave her when she was little, and inadvertently found a hidden box. She opened the box, and a smooth stone appeared in front of her. Looking at the stone, she sobered up a little. She wanted to talk with more like-minded people, so she quickly changed into a female supporting role and calmed down. "Look, talk about life, find a confidant." Chapter 1767. She had accidentally picked up this stone when she was very young. On one side, it was snow white and smooth like a piece of paper. On the other side, there were very complicated symbols. In any case, she could not understand the meaning of these symbols. On the left side of the stone, there were words that she recognized, "Lucky Charm." On the right side of the stone, there was also a very small line of words, "Your wish, I'll help you fulfill it." At first, she did not think that this stone was unusual. She thought that it was a small toy. Her memory was relatively early. Perhaps it was because she often quarreled with her parents and her mother would vent her anger on her. Basically, her memories from when she was 1 or 2 years old were still vivid in her mind. Every time her parents quarreled and she was scolded by her mother, she would hug this stone and hide in a corner to cry. Feeling the pain in her body, she would say to the stone that if her parents did not quarrel and her mother did not beat her, how good would that be? Unexpectedly, her parents passed away unexpectedly. They did not have the chance to quarrel, and her mother did not beat her. She was sent to the orphanage and was bullied by the other children. She was neglected. She began to miss the days when she had parents. Computer terminal and R.B.N. Even though she was occasionally beaten and heard her parents quarrel, the family still lived well when they were not quarreling. At least, she would not be bullied by other children. She would not often have her food snatched or even suffer from the cold and hunger. When she was 5 years old, she already knew how to write. Occasionally, she would squat at the entrance of the orphanage and look at the children with parents. She would act coquettishly and spend time with her parents. She squatted in the corner, spread out the stone in her hand, took out a charcoal pencil, and wrote down her wish to have a pair of parents who loved her and live a prosperous life. She did not think that writing down these could be realized. After all, her parents were no longer in this world. She was just seeking comfort by doing this. She really did not expect that after a few days, she would be told by the director that a couple wanted to adopt her. It was a kind-looking couple. At first glance, she could tell that they were a very good couple. When she saw them, she agreed almost without hesitation. After going to the family tang, she lived like a princess. Her adoptive parents loved her. Naturally, she lived a prosperous life. She thought of the stone called the lucky charm, and her heart pounded. For the first time, she believed that all of this might have been brought to her by the lucky charm. New starter now that she had everything, she was very satisfied. She didn't dare to ask for more. She carefully put the lucky charm in a box and hid it in the most hidden place. She didn't dare to make any random wishes. She was afraid that if she made too many wishes, they wouldn't come true. Even if the heavens saw that she was too greedy, when would they take back everything she had? Therefore, she had never opened the box in the 10 years since she came to Family Tang. If she hadn't found it tonight, she would have almost forgotten that she had such a magical item. Tang Yi looked at the lucky charm. The place where she wrote her wish was now clean and smooth, and there was nothing on it. On the other side, there were still those complicated and incomprehensible symbols. She didn't know if it was an illusion, but she felt that these symbols were much more complicated than before. Perhaps he had remembered wrongly when he was young. She recalled what she had been through these days, especially Tang Kuei, who had always been cold and indifferent to her. She liked Tang Kuei so much that she only dared to see him secretly and approach him carefully. She didn't even have the courage to confess. I want to chat with more like-minded people. Hurry up and change into a female supporting character. Calm down. Look, talk about life. Find a confidant. Chapter 1768. The lucky charm had fulfilled her wish. She wondered if it could fulfill this wish of hers as well. As soon as this idea came out of her mind, Tang Yi's heart was burning. She didn't ask for much. She didn't want the Tang family's things, and she didn't want to steal Tang Guo's position. She only wanted Tang Kuei to like her, to see her sincerity, and to accept her. She wanted to be with Tang Kuei, marry him, and be lovey-dovey for the rest of their lives. Is that okay? Tang Yi remembered Tang Kuei's indifference to her. She knew that he didn't like her. It was precisely because Tang Kuei didn't like her at all that she didn't even have the courage to confess. If she wrote down her wish, would Tang Kuei like her? She didn't know when, but she was already holding a pen in her hand. After hesitating for a while, she decided to write down this wish. Regardless of whether it was realized or not, she still had an extravagant wish. She was the only one who knew this, and it wouldn't hurt anyone else. Mobile terminal PS. Just when she was about to start writing, Tang Yi hesitated and put the pen aside. She exhaled and rubbed her face, murmuring softly, "It's inevitable that I'll look forward to the changes every day." If it didn't happen, then he would be disappointed for a long time. Why don't I think about it again? I haven't confessed to him yet, so I haven't been rejected. Maybe I can work harder. What if I succeed? The reason why Tang Yi didn't write it was because she was afraid that the lucky stone wouldn't be able to fulfill her wish. Although she believed in the unintentional wish she had made back then, it might have been a coincidence. The lucky stone was her last hope. She decided to find an opportunity to confess to Tang Kui. No matter what the result was, she wanted to give it a try. If Tang Kui did not agree, she would use this method again. Having made this decision, Tang Yi felt relieved and put the stone back into its place. Lying back on the bed, he closed his eyes and fell asleep peacefully. Host, she didn't write anything. Could it be that she suddenly realized that feelings shouldn't be forced? The system was puzzled. However, I can sense that her emotions are fluctuating greatly. I don't know the reason. It's because she's not sure if the lucky charm can help her fulfill her wish. She was probably afraid that her wish wouldn't come true in the end. Looking at her determined eyes, she probably wanted to confess to my brother first. That's right, the original plot had something like that as well. When the system scanned this scene from the original plot, I thought she had woken up. She probably still doesn't know that the lucky charm will bring misfortune to others and deprive them of their happiness. Tang Gui smiled. Help me get a bottle. It's a purple one. It's the one that Brother Ziyun gave me in the group chat. The system found it, but there was no label on it. What was this thing? A derivative of a pipe dream creation. Tang Gui took out a thumb-sized pill from the purple bottle. The pill was made up of 2 different colors. Half of it was white and the other half was purple. She broke the pill in the middle and placed the purple pill in her room. Then he took the other half of the white pill, opened the door, walked to Tang Yi's door, and inserted the pill into the door. Just as he stood up, he bumped into Tang Kui, who had appeared out of nowhere. Tang Gui's eyes met Tang Kui's. New and RBN, host, I'm sorry. I just wanted to remind you, but the distance between the rooms is too close. If you want to chat with more like-minded people, please be calm. Look, talk about life, find a confidant. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.